Good morning. It's Thursday, July 18th. Thanks so much for joining us for this edition of Up to the Minute. I'm Sade Campbell, and I serve as the Enrollment Communications and Social Media Manager here at Houston Community College. And I am your co-host today, joined by my other co-host, Linda Davis, who's the Office Manager for College Operations for HCC Northeast. Good morning, Linda.
Hello, Sade. I'm so glad to be back in the saddle riding sidekick with you.
I know it's been some weeks, give or take.
Yes.
Well, welcome. This is my first one back since the storm. I know everyone is in active recovery mode. We're happy to be back in the studio and bringing you and getting you up to the minute on the latest of what's going on in the community in HCC. For those who may not know where to find us, how can they find the Up to the Minute podcast, Linda?
You can find us on HCC's Facebook page, not HCC's Facebook page, not HCC. We're on X, LinkedIn, and HCCTV at noon, 5, and 10.
All right, thanks for that, Linda. Well, later in the show, Linda will be joined by Jackie Berry, professor with the Interior Design Program of Architectural Design in our Construction Center of Excellence. She'll be talking about extended reality. Jackie will be with you in about 10 minutes, but happy to welcome you to the show. All right. But first, it's going to be Thursday Family Fun Day, and we're joined by Michael Bludworth, who is the volunteer historian for the 1940 Air Terminal Museum. Houston is home to a lot of museums, but many of you may not know about this particular museum. So we're so happy to have him on the show. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning to you.
Good. There we go. All right. Well, on July 20th, you'll be giving a talk. You have some things coming up with the museum. Tell us a little bit about what's going on with the museum. What's the latest with the museum right now?
Well, of course, like many of us, we're in storm recovery mode. There was water damage and wind damage to the museum, and we should be able to open up by this Saturday for our monthly Wings and Wheels event.
All right. Yeah, I can only imagine that it affects you personally. How it affects businesses is different, but glad to hear you all are back in it. And you all are coming up on July 20th, you'll be giving a talk about one of the most charismatic figures in aviation history, Howard Hughes. But a lot of people don't realize he's a hometown hero, right?
Right. Well, that of course is my job as a presenter, is to let everyone know that Howard Hughes was a Houstonian, and he was very proud to be from Houston and maintained a residence here during his entire life. There are a lot of good stories about Howard Hughes.
Well, help the people out for those who may not have heard of Howard. You know, we got a lot of new people in Houston. So for those who may not have heard of Howard, what are some of the things that made him not only a hometown hero, but so special to the aviation industry?
Well, of course, he was a very high achiever in aviation. He made a number of record-setting flights, both altitude, speed, distance, and solo flights in the middle 30s and into the late 30s. In particular, the one which is why I do a presentation in July. In July of 1938, he did a very spectacular around the world flight, and on that would be July 28th. And after that, on invitation, he came back to his hometown, Houston, and we essentially threw a big party for him. And it was one of those spectacular parties with ticker tape parades and a banquet, and they gave him the key to the city. But most importantly, they renamed the new Houston airport, the Houston Municipal Airport. They renamed it as Howard Hughes Airport. So that was a big deal for us. And it's a legacy that's stayed alive all these years. There's a lot more to it than that, but that's why I have a presentation on Saturday to talk about all the other stuff.
Well, and that that is around the world is incredible. I can't, and specifically in the 1930s. I don't even like, that's very early in aviation development and technology. What are some of the things and the contributions that many people in the aviation history build on and hold on to today?
Well, he was the first to develop a very high-speed monoplane, the Hughes R1 Racer. It was very finely aerodynamic with flush riveting and a variety of other features that made it an extremely fast airplane. And in that, he was able to set a number of speed records and then do a transcontinental nonstop solo speed record in it, and that got the attention of the entire aviation community. This is, of course, is before World War II, but the aerodynamic refinements that he made in the R1 Racer would find their place in the host of warplanes that were coming up, and a lot of them obeyed those precepts that he established.
So I mean, not only that, I can only imagine just how much he was celebrated. He was probably larger than life figure for people who never even thought that aviation would even be possible, that flight would be possible.
Well, right. And Hughes is a good example in the study of the celebrity, of the cult of celebrity. You got to understand, this man was tall, dark, handsome, rich, and very intelligent. And that made him a very attractive character. And with the advent of radio, you have to forget that once, we have television, but once upon a time, we didn't even have radio. Radio was in its ascendancy as well. And Hughes's trip around the world was covered on a day-to-day basis on radio and in the newspapers. And by the time he got back, the entire world was just agog with admiration for him for what he had accomplished.
Well, now the way you described them, it sounds like it's some stories that haven't taken flight yet. Somebody needs to dig a little deeper and get those other stories outside of his accomplishments of aviation. But outside of Howard Hughes, what can people expect at a trip to the museum?
Well, we have, of course, a number of exhibits that are available for you to wander around. I personally set up a Barbie exhibit to celebrate the movie. I don't know if you know that Barbie has been issued as a pilot, an aviator, a number of times, and we have a few of those on display. Houston is also the home for Trans-Texas Airlines, or Airways, which was founded at our airport in 1946. And that has gone on to become well, they've lost the name, but we continue to honor them because they're now United Airlines. So we've had a hometown airline, a major airline, for a long time. Our airport was also the home for the Women's Air Service Pilots program, the WASP program, in 1943. The first classes were held here. And so it's just a wide number of things that have happened at our airport that are very historic. But to have a vintage 1940 golden age of aviation air terminal here and looking like it did in 1940 is just astounding. There is not another one of these around the nation. You can't go to New York or Los Angeles or San Francisco to see theirs because they don't have one. It's almost a unique feature, and it belongs to Houston, and it belongs to citizens. It's still owned by the city, and it is open to the citizens. So I encourage you to come down and enjoy this wonderful architectural feature that we have, this unique architectural feature that we have at Houston's historic Hobby Airport, which is coming up on its 100th birthday, by the way.
Oh, wow. And there's so many advancements in aviation history, and I'm always going to tie this back to HCC because you may hear this and think, okay, I'm not trying to be a pilot, but there's so many other STEM areas that airports and aviation benefit from. So for a student or a faculty member or a staff member that may be interested in visiting in aviation, what would you hope their takeaway would be when they visit the museum?
Well, it's a history museum, and I'm a volunteer historian there, and I've learned so much from it. The history, when you look at the history of the airport, you can look at the history of the airport, the history of a building, which takes you into architecture, which takes you into the airlines, which takes you into so many different fields. Pilots have the highest visibility, which is fine, and we have many pilots who are very ardent supporters of the museum. But pilots could not fly if their airplane didn't work, and airplanes are maintained by mechanics. It's a pyramidal structure. The pilots are at the top, and they're supported by all the other things underneath it. So learn about your history, and you can come to our museum and learn about the diverse history. Hughes is just a fun segment of it.
Right. Well, thank you so much. We're out of time. We've been talking to Michael Bludworth, who's a volunteer historian for the 1940 Air Terminal Museum. We'll have all the information posted on our social media after the show. Thanks so much for joining us, Michael.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, well, up next after a commercial break, Linda will discover why extended reality is for more than just gamers.
When I grow up, I want to work at a school so I can be a teacher.
From classroom to career, we're with you every step. Register for real-world education at hccs.edu.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We're back with Jackie Berry, professor with the Interior Design Program of the Architectural Design and Construction COE. Welcome back to the show, Jackie.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Well, you're here today to discuss the use of extended reality, also known as XR, in interior design and how HCC integrates it into its curriculum. Let's begin with how you divide XR as a part of interior design's toolkit into two categories. First,
Sure.
as a design tool, and second, as a presentation tool. First, tell us about it as a design tool, Jackie.
Well, the way we typically do projects or used to do projects was all two-dimensional work, right? We meet with our clients and we get their information, their goals, their requirements for projects. And the first thing that usually that comes from that meeting is a floor plan. So we start working in two-dimensional, and then throughout the years, we've started to work in 3 dimensions, but still only like photographs of spaces. And so now with this new technology, we have the ability to actually go into a space and, with the VR goggles or just on our computer and really look around and sort of see what we've designed 3-dimensionally and does that work? And, my experience as an interior designer, it would always be, I'd do all this work, I'd see it in plans and drawings and things like that. And then I'd finally get to the space and there would always always be surprises no matter what. But now we don't have to think about that anymore. So as a design tool, we can go in and manipulate in real time and show clients or other people on our design team, like contractors and vendors, carpenters, electricians, all those kind of people, what we're actually talking about and doing, and make modifications in the space. So that's how it can be used as a real design tool.
Well, tell us about how you use it as a presentation tool.
Well, and that's really, how it started. It's like, okay, great. We can still do all the typical things that we do, and then we can put them into this virtual reality space, and then we can show the clients, here's our work. It's sort of like the grand finale of something. You see the big reveal of the real spaces, but before we get to that, we have to sort of show them what we're planning on doing. And so now, again, just like being able to manipulate the space, we can present the space to our clients. So our clients can look at things in 3D and really understand their space before it actually gets built. So, it's a presentation tool, but it's also a design tool, which is very exciting for us.
This is awesome. This is awesome. Next step, next phase. So tell us, how does HCC deliver extended reality in interior design education in the classroom?
Well, sure. So we still teach all the traditional methods, right? I mean, we have AutoCAD classes, or we start off with hand drafting. Students are always surprised when they get to their first drafting class and it's like, wait, I thought this was all done on the computers now. It's like, well, first we're going to teach you how to do it by hand. So we go through all the typical things. They learn hand drafting and AutoCAD. And then once they have a handle on that, in our studio classes in residential design and commercial design, we start introducing them to the extended reality toolkit, right? And so there are software programs like SketchUp and Enscape are the two that we really focus on. But again, it builds a 3D model of the space, and then the students learn how to do that. Then they import that into Enscape, and then they have the ability to go into the space and walk around in it. And so we just have, with continuous communication with our advisory committee, we understand what the firms are using out in the real world. And so at HCC, we are really, really proud that, and we hear this from a lot of our industry partners, that, we're advanced even compared to the 4-year schools, because, we've got a 2-year degree. We've got 2 years to show our students how to do all this stuff. And we've really managed to work it in. And we do that really with a great partnership with the Reality Collab and Ruben and his team.
Well, I tell you, HCC is always on the cutting edge of the latest and greatest. So tell us about your new classes focusing on designing and for the metaverse. You say you can be like Zaha Hadid.
Yes. She is a famous female architect. There's not many of them. And her firm has really been on the cutting edge of this metaverse design. And so in conjunction with Ruben Duran, we taught a, designing in the metaverse class, because one thing that you might have come across already is a lot of the retail stores have sort of ventured into virtual reality and extended reality. Crate and Barrel, Macy's, companies like that are creating these virtual worlds that you can go into and shop. So it really sets it up for, a whole new path for our students, because they can design virtual spaces. So not only do they have the ability to design real spaces for clients, but now they can go in and design, whether it's retail stores or any kind of experience that you're seeing in what is the metaverse. And so we had our very first metaverse class where students learned the process and the workflow of how to design something and then get it into a program, something called Spatial, that then everybody and anybody can see. So it was our first digital badge for our program. So we were really excited about that. And the students really felt like now they have a leg up, just one more leg up on the next, for their next interviews.
Well, that's excellent. Give me any reason to shop. It's
Right.
so great that Ms. Zaha Hadid legacy will live on. So tell me a little bit about your faculty. Are they all pioneers in the XR field as well?
That's well, we're trying to be. It's kind of a funny story. One of our we had our last advisory committee meeting. One of our advisory board members asked, well, who are you getting to teach these classes? I guess a lot of young people. And we're like, well, we looked around and it's sort of like, well, it's us, we're doing it. So we do consider ourselves, pioneers. Kind of fits that that description of what we're doing. Really sort of having to dive into it ourselves, just knowing that, this is really what is the next step, the next generation of students coming out of school need to know about. And so, it's not really being taught the way we're teaching it and as integrated as we're making it, especially at the community college level. Really, we are proud of our program because we're recognized by a lot of the architecture and design firms. Even with an associate's degree, our students are ready to hit the ground running when they graduate. Now, we do have an agreement with Stephen F. Austin, and students can also get their bachelor's degree if they'd like to transfer over to Stephen F. Austin and still stay here in Houston and get a bachelor's degree. But, we're really proud of what we do in the associate's program. So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Jackie Berry, professor with our Interior Designs program of the Architectural Design and Construction COE. We'll have your information in the post after the show. Coming up after a quick commercial break, Sade and I will return, the tag team, with some news and announcements. So hang on, guys. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
When I grow up, I want to work in a lab to build robots.
From classroom to career, we're with you every step. Register for real-world education at hccs.edu.
That one day at PE when they were like yelling at me and then you just linked arms with me, I don't think you know how much like that helped me. I finally knew that I had somebody.
All right, welcome back from the break. We're going to wrap out with news and announcements happening around HCC in our community. And first up is the National Battle of the Bands is going to be happening at one of our HCC Northeast campuses. And again, as I've shared before, this is ignited some drum major dreams of my own. Okay, I needed to have been a majorette. I was supposed to be on somebody's squad, but sometimes life and I didn't make it there. But if those are your dreams and somebody's dreams that be sure to tell them about this camp. We have the prestigious HBCU marching bands will soon gather for the 2024 National Battle of the Bands High School Band Camp. Special guest for the event will be Danielle Stamper, who is the TSU dance director for the famous Motion of the Ocean. As band camp dance coach, she and others will offer clinics to provide high school students valuable instruction on music and the arts. It'll be happening 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. through tomorrow, July 19th at our HCC North Forest campus. Be sure to check the details posted after the show.
All right, Medicare Awareness Free Series. Since those who become eligible for Medicare have important decisions to make, United Healthcare is offering a free series in English and Vietnamese to organizations. Says it's their mission to help people live healthier lives and make their healthcare system work for everyone. This is going to be from 10 to 11 a.m. on Wednesday, July 24th at the HCC Spring Branch, A-Leaf Bissonnet, A-Leaf Hayes, and Katy campuses. Registration information is in our post after the show.
All right, well, we are looking ahead to September, which doesn't seem far away, but July is zooming by. So mark your calendars. We're going to have an automotive career fair to connect with employers. HCC's upcoming fall automotive technicians and mechanics career fair is an opportunity to connect with employers who are needing talent in the form of jobs, co-ops, internships, and more. Specialties include transportation technicians, auto body collision repair, and transportation mechanics. It'll be happening 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Wednesday, September 18th at our Northeast campus. Details will be posted after the show.
Fall registration is now open. Registration for the fall semester is now open with regular and small semesters offered in a variety of programs. Like all of HCC courses for the summer and fall, they are offered online anytime, online on a schedule, hybrid, both face-to-face and partially virtual, in person, and HC hybrid labs. To learn more about HCC programs, start dates, and options to cover costs, visit hccs.edu/apply.
All right, well, coming up on Friday, we will check in with our new Vice Chancellor of Institutional Innovation and Digital Strategy. Thanks so much for joining us for this edition of Up to the Minute. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
When I grow up, I want to work in a hospital.
From classroom to career, we're with you every step. Register for real-world education at hccs.edu.
If you love them enough to relearn math so you can teach them math, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
150 over 90.
180 over 111.
160 over 110. I had a stroke.
Your blood pressure numbers could change your life. Lowering them could save you from having a stroke. If you've stopped your treatment plan, restart it or talk to your doctor about creating one that works better for you. Start taking the right steps at manageyourbp.org.
Now I'm, trying to get better, stronger than ever.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Oh boy.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
That one day at PE when they were yelling at me, and then you just linked arms with me. I don't think you know how much that helped me. I finally knew that I had somebody.